have questions for Manish. Any questions? Okay. Okay. Dr. Amjad Haidami, he will give us some insights to a career as a dentist.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. I don't have a presentation, so all the focus is just going to have to be on here and not on the screen. It says on the paper insights into the career of dentistry, but I know this is for mainly high school students that are inshallah going into college either next year or the year after that. So I want to kind of focus a little bit more on maybe, my path at least, and my journey through college and dental school and what that required for me from college in order to get into dental school. I graduated from PCAS back in '06. I did dual enrollment at Gulf Coast State College now. It's called Community College, but at least it's State College now. Then I got my AA and transferred to the University of Florida in 2007. Whenever I went to the University of Florida, I kind of already knew, I had in my mindset that I did want to do something in the health field. I just wasn't sure exactly what it was in the health field that I wanted to do. All 5 of my classmates, remember I went to PCAS, all 5 of my classmates mainly wanted to do, or at least the boys among us wanted to do something in the medical field. I wasn't sure if I wanted something in the medical field or maybe in the dental field. So just like Maria mentioned earlier, it's really extremely important that you do shadow. Shadow as much as you can, shadow the fields that you may be interested in observing. Really that's the only way that you can, kind of put yourself in that person's shoes and see if this is something you can do for the rest of your life. Because up until this point, all what you've done has been split up into almost 4 or 5 year increments: elementary school, middle school, high school. So there isn't that length and period of time. But once you graduate with this career, as he explained, it's something that you're going to be doing for inshallah the next 30 or 40 years of your life, sometimes even 50 years. I know there's actually a dentist in town that's about 80, 85 years old, and he's still practicing and loving his trade, loving his craft. That's because he shadowed and he knew that it was something he wanted to do. So whenever I went to the University of Florida, through shadowing, and also, as a lot of you know, my older brother's a dentist as well, I kind of started to hone in on the dental field. So I initially started off by observing my brother and shadowing him in his own practice. And I also, dentistry has other specialties and other facets to it. As the U.S. News report says, the number one of them, or among them, being an orthodontist. What an orthodontist is, just differentiate, an orthodontist is a specialty of the dental field, and what they do, what they focus on, is braces, essentially. That's what they do all day, every day, is they put braces on teeth and straighten and align teeth for the most part there. So once I honed in on dentistry and I shadowed my brother, I also decided to see, well, hey, you know what? Let's see what other aspects of dentistry there are. Because just like Maryam mentioned, even in the dental field, you can focus in on other aspects, not just dentistry or general dentistry itself. You can go into other specialties there, or you can do research, or you can do teaching. So I went to every specialty here locally in town, and I shadowed them for half a day or a full day just to kind of see what that entailed, what that was all about. The nice thing about this is, as I was doing this, I was at the University of Florida, and I was also choosing my major. So what you need to realize is that whenever you apply, or whenever you want to go the medical or dental or health field route, is that a lot of other people that are in your classes that also want to go that route are studying just as hard as you are. They're getting almost the same grades you are, inshallah, high grades. Really aim for really high grades, high B's, really A's if you can. I know some of these classes are tough, but it's not about being a genius, it's about putting the hard work and effort into it. You have a lot of time in college, but it's really a matter of, being able to find that work-life balance, so to speak, where you can still enjoy your time. There's time to enjoy, but remember the purpose why you went to FSU, Tampa, Gainesville, wherever it is that you're going to go off to college. The main reason why your parents sent you off there, why they're paying for your living fees, paying for your tuition, is so that you can learn, so you can get a good education. So you really want to make those good grades. But just as important as getting those good grades, because don't forget, everyone else applying to dental school is going to be making just as good grades. The next thing you want to do is also volunteer. It's extremely important. You don't just have to volunteer in dental or health related fields. you can volunteer. For example, I volunteered myself personally. Once again, I'm going to talk about my personal experience. I volunteered in things like Kids Fest, Relay for Life, other aspects. They just want to see what these admissions committee people really want to see is they want to see a good balance, and they want to see that you are a community-oriented person, because as a dentist, as a pharmacist, as a physician, that's what you're doing. You are serving your community for the rest of your life. So if you can serve your community in your college and high school years, then that's a good sign that you're going to be serving your community later on as well. So I did a lot of volunteering. I did do health-related volunteers, but I also did a lot of other things not related to healthcare. Project Downtown being one of them as well. I think it's a great venue and avenue to do some volunteering. It's a very, very rewarding experience as well. And then, as Maria mentioned, you do get to hear and see and experience some pretty cool stories from Project Downtown as well. It really gives you a good perspective on life and why maybe you should work hard at your young age in order to, inshallah, secure a successful career. Beyond that, so we spoke about grades, we spoke about volunteering, we spoke about shadowing, so you can really narrow down and figure out if it's something you want to do. But remember, all three of these things that I mentioned are things that everyone else is doing to try and secure a position in the career path. In this case, let's talk about dentistry. So whenever I applied to dental school, I applied to multiple schools. Just to give you an idea, during my time, there were only 2 dental schools in the state of Florida. That's at the University of Florida and Nova Southeastern University in South Florida. Okay, I applied to both schools as well as other schools all throughout the U.S. over here, because you can't put all your eggs in one basket. But I did really want to go to one of the Florida schools because obviously it's closer to home. So what I did was I looked at what each school focused on. Nova, for example, focused more on community outreach, being outgoing, just having a more social aspect to things, as well as good grades and good education. University of Florida, as a lot of you know, is a top tier 1 research institute. So they like to see all those things, but they also like to see a focus on research. So while I was at the University of Florida in my undergraduate studies, I chose my major as food science and human nutrition. I figured it would be something a little bit more unique because everyone else is a biology major or microbiome major. So I was like, food science and human nutrition gives you all the prerequisites that you need, biochem, gen chem, physics, calculus. It has all those requisites that you need, but it's also it's also a slightly more unique major. It's also a really helpful major. It really did help me out a lot. Whenever you go to college, you gain the freshman 15, and then you decide, I need to focus on my health and nutrition. You try and lose that off. So it was a good major. It is a major that I would recommend for for you guys to look at if that does pique your interest. So that's one of the avenues that I try to now differentiate myself from everyone else, because everyone else was getting good grades. And alhamdulillah, just once again to let you know about my experience, I graduated with honors, but so did a lot of other people. They got 3.8, 3.9, 4.0 GPAs also. Another thing is volunteering. I did a lot of volunteering, but so did everyone else. Shadowing. I did about 120 hours of shadowing, both general dentists and all the other specialties. But a lot of other people had many shadowing hours. So now you need to start focusing on how can I differentiate myself and make myself look unique to these admissions committee people, the people that will ultimately decide if you get an interview and if you get accepted into medical, dental, or pharmacy school. So one of the first things I did was I chose a slightly different major, a more unique major. It stands out. Whenever someone's looking at this sheet of paper, they have hundreds of other sheets of papers, being your resume, along the table, and they see biology, 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 and all of a sudden they see this one person with a different major. Well, hey, look a little bit more deeply into this person over here. So that's one way I focused on that. Another way, as far as that goes, like I said, is really doing unique volunteering opportunities. Like I said, not focusing on just health-related volunteer opportunities, but doing different and slightly more unique volunteer opportunities that makes you stand out. I did do research as well, so that does help you in that sense as well. So I did do research for about a year. Just like Mariam said, a lot of these research opportunities are over a long period of time. Remember, research doesn't happen in a year or 2 years. So if you can get on it early, do it. I did not get in on it early, but alhamdulillah, I did find a research opportunity that was a year in length, so it was perfect enough for me. So I did alhamdulillah find that, and that's just to let you know that you can find a research opportunity. Okay. Once again, to give you a little bit of insight, whenever I did apply, for example, one of the schools that I applied to and ultimately did get accepted to, alhamdulillah, Nova Southeastern University, I found out afterwards that they had 100 seats available only for the entering year of 2010. That's whenever I applied and got accepted. for the entering year of 2010, they had 100 seats available. They had 4,000 people apply for those 100 seats. That means for my one seat right over here, there were 40 other people around me trying to fight for that one seat. So like I said, they all had good grades, they all had the criteria that may have been needed or required to get that seat. But what made me different than them? It's ultimately what differentiates you on that resume, okay? Because that resume and that personal statement, like she spoke about, it's like the name suggests, make it as personal. Don't make it so boring and rough around the edges and you know, cliche, so to speak. Make it really unique about yourself. Put in personal stories. Hey, this is why I'm choosing dentistry is because of this, or hey, this is my life-changing moment that made me realize I want to do medicine. So make it about yourself, because that's ultimately what they're seeing on the paper. Don't forget, they've never met you. They don't know how hard you've worked to get up to this point. So you have to try and communicate that on that sheet of paper, on your resume, and on your personal statement. As soon as you can communicate that effectively and show them how you're unique and different than anyone else, they're going to invite you for an interview. Whenever they invite you for an interview, it is up to you to make it or break it. Khalas, that's it. I mean, they gave you the interview. They told you, hey, Muhammad, I'm interested in what I see on this paper about you. Come and convince me. They like what they see. Whenever they invite you for an interview, it's not because they don't like what they see. If they say, hey, you know, let me just call them over. It's a waste of their time. Don't forget, 4,000 people applied. They're not here to waste their time. So whenever they give you an interview, it's a very serious proposal, saying, hey, it's up to you to make it or break it. I like what I see. Now you have to convince me to continue to like what I see or convince me otherwise. So whenever you go to an interview, don't go all stuck up, nervous, and with a rehearsed speech in your mind. That's the worst thing you can do, because that rehearsed speech is essentially what you put on the paper. They already saw your resume. They already read your resume. They already read your personal statement. You don't need to go back in there and regurgitate that to them. What you need to do, just like Maria mentioned, you know, they're going to ask you why dentistry, why medicine, why pharmacy. They'll ask you that. That's usually the first and opening question, just to get the ball rolling and to get you speaking. Well, what you're going to notice, this is what I noticed in all of my interviews, what you'll notice is that they're going to find something in your response, whenever they ask you why dentistry, why medicine, why pharmacy, they're going to find something in your response to deviate that and try and figure you out on a personal level. They want to see who you are. They want to see what your character is. They already know you graduated with honors, you have above a 3.7 GPA. They already know you did excellent on your MCAT or DAT. They already know you have a lot of volunteering and shadowing opportunities and hours. So they want to see, what is it about you and your personality that can be of benefit to us in our school, because that's what they want to see. Unlike, you know, college maybe, where there's hundreds and thousands of students, in medical school or dental school, you know, let's say, for example, in my case, there was 100 students. They want to make sure all 100 students graduate, okay? It would look bad on the school if, you know, all 100 students didn't graduate. So they want to choose you, and they want to make sure that you're someone they can work with. Like I said, what they'll do is they'll try and figure out you and your personality. And the reason why they do that is because for the next 4 years in dentistry at least, for the next 4 years, you will be living, breathing, and eating amongst them every single day. And they want to know that they can get along with you. They want to know that they can bear to see you. They want to know that you're someone that can join the team. They don't want someone that's cutthroat and that's going to say, hey, I'm going to be at the top and I'm going to be the best and none of you guys matter. No, they don't want that. They want someone who can work with the class. They want to see someone who can maybe help out their other classmates that aren't doing as well. So they want to see that sense of community. They want to see that sense of leadership. They just want to see that personality, that strength that they can deal with and work with for the next 4 years. If they can see that, you can convince them that, then, you know, inshallah, you'll get that letter in the mail or you'll get that phone call. I actually got that phone call. I remember I was still attending University of Florida, and I had come to Panama City to visit my parents, and I was driving back. I think I didn't have any Monday. We'll say I didn't have any Monday classes. I was driving back on a Monday. We'll pretend I didn't have any. It was just Tuesday, Thursday classes. All right, guys. I was driving back Monday, and I was. I think I had just gone past Tallahassee. I was driving back to Gainesville, and my phone rings, and it was my mom. My mom isn't the dean of any dental school, so no, it wasn't that. It was my mom. My mom gives me a phone call, and she's like, Amjad, did anyone call you right now? I'm like, no, I've been on the road for a couple of hours now, and you're the first one. she was like, well, I just got a phone call, and it said on the caller ID, Nova Southeastern University. I'm like, oh, did you answer? She was like, yeah, I told them that, you're not here right now, and I gave them your cell phone number. And as soon as she said that, I see the call waiting. I see it's busy. I'm like, Mom, someone's calling me right now. So I hang up, and I pick up the phone, and it's the dean on the other line, and he tells me, Amjad, how are you doing today? I'm like, I'm doing fine. And he's like, I just wanted to call and see if you're still interested in attending Nova Southeastern University College of Dental Medicine.
I would think about it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I've got a lunch meeting right now. I'm just kidding. So I told him, I was like, yes, I absolutely would love to accept that position. Thank you so much. As you can imagine, it was probably one of the best phone calls of my life. Alhamdulillah, I still made it. I was still able to drive in a straight line, and no cops pulled me over and accused me of driving under the influence. Driving under the influence of being accepted to dental school. So, alhamdulillah, I was accepted, and that was my path in my route. And, throughout dental school, there are challenges. It doesn't, you may hear that once you get in, khalas, that's it, you're set. No, it gets harder, it gets tougher, it gets more challenging. Whenever you take 14 to 16 credit hours in college, you think, oh wow, 16 credit hours, that's so much. Some people may even take 18, like, oh my God, you can't take more than 18. My first year in dental school, I had 33 credit hours. Okay, it's literally an 8 to 5 job every single day, Monday through Friday. You wake up at 8 a.m., you go to classes until 5 p.m., and then you don't get to come home and relax, you have to study. But that's my point. It's not about being smart, it's not about being a genius. Yes, if you are, those help out, but it's about working hard, it's about putting the time and the effort in. That is what it is all throughout life, because even after you graduate, even as you become a physician or a dentist or whatever it is, you're not set in life. You don't make $180,000 by just showing up to work. You have to put the effort in. It's hard work, it's effort. That student debt is a very real concern. Student tuitions are rising. I'll be honest with you, it's not, I'm not sure for medicine, but it's not, 150. I doubt it is. It can't be. Because for dentistry, it's about $350,000. Whenever you graduate, it's about $350,000, give or take, depending on if you attend a public or a private institution. So these are real things you need to consider. It's not, you don't go into these things saying, hey, I'll make it all up in the end. Because it's not. It is a career choice. It is a career path. What you choose is ultimately what you're going to be doing for, inshallah, the rest of your life. And that's why very early on, you need to make sure you choose something that is befitting of you, that has that work-life balance. Don't choose it because some silly news or US News or whatever it was says that, hey, this is the best or this is the top, okay? Don't choose it because of that, and also because that's less competition for me. But please, if you have any other questions, there's so much to this topic. I wish I had more time, but if you have any more questions for me for the path in college leading up to, because I just graduated, from the University of Florida back in 2010, so it wasn't that long ago. My memory is still a little bit fresh on that. So if you have any questions on the path from college to getting accepted into not just dental school, like Mariam said, it's a lot of it is similar, whether you want to do even law, medicine, pharmacy, whatever it is they want to do. A lot of these, they all look at the same criteria. They all look at the same things over here. So it's a lot of it is the same. So if you have any questions in regards to that, if you have any questions about the 4 years of dental school or what happens after 4 years of dental school, don't hesitate to ask. And if you have any questions about the career of dentistry itself, something that I do every day, alhamdulillah, I enjoy and I wake up and I look forward to doing every day. Sometimes the weekends don't seem long enough, and sometimes the weekends seem like they're too long. But that's a good thing. Whenever you're taking time off what you do every day and you realize, hey, I really want to go back and do my job, do my career choice, then that means, alhamdulillah, that you probably made the right career choice.
Actually, you already finished and you're working.
Correct, yeah, alhamdulillah. So I graduated from Nova Southeastern University in May 2014, so almost exactly 2 years ago. And I've been working since then here locally.
And you're working hard, but through the study of your college, you said you're working very hard.
Correct.
What subjects that the people right now, I know that you mentioned some subjects important, but what subjects you need to put emphasis on it if you want to go to this career, which can help you?
That's a great question. So really the main first and most important thing is that you're ultimately entering a science field. So you really need to focus on the science aspects. You need to focus on the general chemistry, you need to focus on the biology of it all. It's in college, they don't teach you medicine, they don't teach you dentistry, but they teach you the building blocks on which dentistry and medicine and pharmacy is built upon. So you really need to make sure you focus on those. Not only do you get good grades, but that you understand it. You can study and get a really good grade, but if you don't understand it all, then all that studying went to waste. What's the point of studying if you don't understand why these chemical reactions happen, or why this biochemical property is what it is? You need to really understand all of these things. So that's very important. But you also, they want to look at the other more liberal arts aspects of it as well. If you can get good grades in those areas, then that's really important as well. Like I said, don't forget, everyone's applying for the same position. Everyone is working just as hard here. So you need to focus on the areas that will differentiate you from everyone else. That way your resume will stand out from the 4,000 other resumes that are on the table for the admissions committee to look at. Great question. Well, yeah, any other questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have any questions later for Dr. Haidami or Mariam or myself, our Facebook page, we have posted this event on our Facebook page, and the comments there is a good place for you to post questions, and we will do our best to get back to you.
And just one last thing before we do go to the pizza. It smells really good. Honestly, if you have any questions, I'll leave a card here. But also, if anyone is interested in dentistry and would like to shadow, just like how Hamdan had an easy shadowing opportunity with my brother. If you want a shadowing opportunity, we'll make it easy for you. Just give us a phone call or let me know, and I'll set up a time, have you come in and kind of see what dentists do and what dentistry is all about.
Okay, it's pizza time.